All right, let's talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. Obviously, coming off of, let's just call it what it is. We all know it, a very ugly victory week 2. And we all know right now, Coach Venables, this program's got a lot of work to do as we get ready for a brutal SEC schedule. But to that end, the Sooners just made a really smart move, should help them out for the long term. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, as Oklahoma is still trying to figure out who they're going to be for this 2024 iteration, they obviously don't have a lot of time left to figure it out. The SEC schedule is right around the corner before the following week after Tulane. They got Tulane this week before they really get into their gauntlet. And to that end, Venables and company understands they've got to fix a lot of issues on this team. And I think they just made a smart move that could help them with that. Let's pull up this report courtesy of SI.com. At his weekly press conference on Tuesday, Sooners on SI asked Venables what kind of changes or reevaluations he would have in mind this week as the number 15 ranked Sooners prepare to take on Tulane. His answer was direct. Oklahoma players can expect more physical, more competitive practices moving forward, meaning, as Venables said, more good on good. It's going to bring out the best in you, Venables said. Competitiveness, fundamentals, things that you can coach and teach and correct off of tape when you're going against good people. All right, this is unusual for those of you who aren't very familiar with. Good on good, first string on first string doesn't really happen hardly at all after training camp. I think this is a smart move by Venables to get his team ready. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Oklahoma fans, in the comment section below, obviously kind of an ugly week 2 performance, but you're undefeated through 2 games. Give us your early season 2-game MVP. Who has stood out so far as being the best player on this Oklahoma Sooner squad through just 2 games? Really curious what you guys have to say. Let us know in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest Oklahoma news?
Yeah, I think this is a necessity. I think this is something that has to happen for Oklahoma because you play a team, Houston, that close. You can't go in and have that same mentality, same style against these SEC teams. I think Brent Venables knows exactly just that. And you bring it up. It's a rarity to have ones on ones. It's rare to have best on best. And the thing that steps out in people's minds is, injuries. What if people get hurt? What if guys get a little bit too competitive? And he addresses that later on, and I think it's just the proof is in what he's saying. It's 100% true. He says, that's how you get better. I don't know any other way to do it. You can't practice soft and play hard. And you can't really say any better than that. You got to go out there. And if you're going to go up against these SEC teams who are going to be physical, they're going to be tough teams. Everyone's got strong defenses, big offensive lines. You got to get your guys out there and get them a little bit more physical. This isn't the same old, offenses and defenses that they're used to playing. This is the SEC, and it is going to be different. So here, I love what Venables is doing. We've seen him all throughout this offseason just changing his mentality, changing how he's done things all offseason. Embraces the NIL. He embraces the new technology with the iPads and all that stuff on the sideline. He does things that he wouldn't traditionally do to get this team to be ready for a task they haven't traditionally faced before. And I love what we're seeing from Coach Venables and the changes he's willing to make, the things he's willing to do, I think shows that they're going to have their best foot forward going against these SEC teams.
Yeah, and like we said, right, going ones on ones, best on best at this point in the year is unheard of, right? When I played college football way back in the day, a few years ago now, of course, the only time we'd ever go like ones on ones mid-season would be like maybe for 1 5-minute period, one practice, or like 2-minute drill on like a Thursday or something before a game, right? You never would do a lot of ones on ones, best on best, twos on twos kind of practice during the week. It just wouldn't happen. You'd be going up against the scout team pretty much 99.999% of the time. So this is very unusual that we're seeing from Venables in Oklahoma right now. And I think it is 100% the smart move for a couple reasons. First and foremost, what we've seen from Oklahoma, look, they're a good team. It's undeniably so. But the reality is they are not as talented as the rest of the teams, the top teams in the SEC. Ole Miss is more talented, right? The way it is this season. Tennessee more talented. Texas is more talented, right? If the other teams are more talented, not saying it will always be that way, but we're saying right now, then you have to be more physical. You have to be mentally and physically tough. And what we saw the first couple of weeks from this Oklahoma team is they are not where they need to be on that front. Brett Venables is taking advantage of this opportunity, saying, all right, listen, before long, we're in the middle of the SEC gauntlet schedule. we're going to have to lighten up the practice load, right? We're not going to be able to go ones-on-one scrimmaging a lot of work when we're deep preparing for Oklahoma, Texas, when preparing for Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Oklahoma at Auburn, right? We're not going to be able to prepare physically ones-on-ones all week during practice during those game weeks. We're going to have to lighten off the load a little bit. Otherwise, we'll kill our players. Now is our last chance to get more physical. Now is our last chance to earn it, to finally figure out who we want to be in terms of a smash mouth, mentally tough football team. I think Venables is taking advantage of this time. Again, not overlooking Tulane, but just understanding that once he gets into that SEC brutal gauntlet, he will not be able to go this hard in practice. This is smart practice management by Venables. Again, kind of an underrated talent. A lot of great coaches really struggle with this. Even great recruiters, great tacticians, they don't understand how to manage their players week in and week out, day in and day out. Venables is proving he's very adept at this, and I think it'll be a great sign for Oklahoma, and we'll see the results of it both this season and in the future.